Have you ever wondered what it would be like to walk a day in Jesus' sandals, experiencing his teachings firsthand? Imagine the insights we could gain, the wisdom we could glean. These teachings, as old as they are, hold profound relevance in our modern life, guiding us in our daily endeavors. They are not just historical texts, but timeless wisdom that transcends centuries. So, come along on this thought-provoking journey through Jesus' teachings. Imagine the sun just rising, the cool morning air, and Jesus beginning his Sermon on the Mount. As the first rays of light pierce through the morning haze, Jesus begins to speak, sharing the profound truths of the Beatitudes. These 8 blessings, spoken in the gentle light of dawn, resonate with timeless wisdom and guidance. They are not commandments, but rather divine promises of joy and peace to those who embody their teachings in their daily lives. The first Beatitude, "Blessed are the poor in spirit," urges us towards humility, recognizing our need for spiritual growth. It's not about material poverty, but about acknowledging our spiritual impoverishment and our constant need for divine grace. It's a call to set aside ego and pride, to be open, receptive, and humble before the grandeur of God's love. Blessed are the merciful. The fifth Beatitude is a call to compassion. It's about showing kindness, understanding, and forgiveness to others, even when it's difficult. It's about looking beyond our own needs and concerns and reaching out with empathy and love. Mercy is not just a virtue, it's a way of life, a reflection of God's own merciful heart in our actions. Then there's "Blessed are the peacemakers," an invitation to be ambassadors of harmony in a world often riddled with conflict. It's about striving to mend divisions, to bridge gaps, to heal wounds. It's about fostering understanding and unity and promoting peace in our homes, our communities, and our world. Each Beatitude is a beacon illuminating a path of love, compassion, humility, and peace. They challenge us to rise above our human frailties, to embody these divine virtues in our daily living. They are not just beautiful words spoken 2,000 years ago, but timeless truths that can guide our lives today. As the morning sun rises higher, Jesus' words illuminate our path for the day. So, let's walk this path together, inspired by the wisdom of the Sermon on the Mount, living the Beatitudes in our everyday lives. As the day progresses, Jesus begins to share his parables, simple stories with profound truths. One of these is the parable of the Good Samaritan. This tale speaks volumes about compassion and reaching out to those in need, regardless of who they are. In this story, a man is robbed, beaten, and left for dead by the roadside. Several individuals pass him by without offering assistance. But then, a Samaritan, a member of a group often looked down upon by others, stops to help. He tends to the injured man's wounds, brings him to an inn, and ensures he's taken care of, even paying for his stay out of his own pocket. The message here is clear. True compassion knows no boundaries. It doesn't discriminate based on social status, race, or religion. It sees a fellow human in need and extends a helping hand, asking nothing in return. This parable challenges us to look beyond our prejudices and to show kindness and empathy to all. Then there's the parable of the prodigal son, a powerful story about forgiveness and unconditional love. In this narrative, a younger son asks for his share of his father's estate, effectively wishing his father dead. He squanders his wealth in wild living and ends up destitute. In his lowest moment, he decides to return home, hoping his father will at least allow him to work as a servant. Yet when he's still a long way off, his father sees him, runs to him, and embraces him. He doesn't condemn or berate his wayward son. Instead, he celebrates his return, saying that his son was lost and is found. This parable communicates a profound truth about God's love for us. We may wander off, make mistakes, and fall flat on our faces, but his arms are always open, ready to welcome us back. His love is not conditional on our performance or our ability to stay on the straight and narrow. It's a love that forgives, heals, and restores. And with these parables, Jesus enriches our understanding of love and forgiveness. As the sun reaches its peak, Jesus delivers the greatest commandment. In the warmth of the midday sun, Jesus speaks of love. Not just any kind of love, but a love so profound, so all-encompassing that it becomes the cornerstone of our existence. He teaches us to love God with all our heart, soul, and mind. This is not a passive admiration, but a deep, active love that engages every part of our being. It's a love that calls us to connect with our Creator in a deeply personal and transformative way. Heart, soul, and mind. These are not separate entities, but intertwined aspects of our being. In loving God with all our heart, we express our deepest emotions and desires. In loving God with all our soul, we commit our very essence, our spiritual and eternal self. And in loving God with all our mind, we engage our intellect and our capacity for thought and understanding. But Jesus doesn't stop there. He adds another layer to this love. He teaches us to love our neighbor as ourselves. This is a love that transcends boundaries and differences. It's a love that sees the image of God in every person and responds with kindness, empathy, and respect. It's a love that doesn't discriminate or judge, but embraces all with open arms. How do these commandments play out in our daily life? They become our compass, guiding our decisions and actions. They prompt us to treat others with compassion and understanding, to lend a helping hand, to speak words of kindness and encouragement. They inspire us to strive for a deeper relationship with God, to seek His presence in our lives, to let His love fill and transform us. These commandments are not just rules to follow, but a path to a more fulfilling and meaningful life. They are a call to love deeply, to live fully, to be the best version of ourselves. In embracing these commandments, we find a purpose that goes beyond our own desires and needs. We find a love that is greater than ourselves, a love that reflects the heart of God. As the afternoon sun begins to descend, we are left to reflect on the depth of Jesus' commandment. As the day draws to a close, we find ourselves at the Last Supper. This poignant moment in the life of Jesus marks a turning point, a gathering steeped in significance and sacred teachings. In the calm of the evening, Jesus sat with His disciples, sharing a meal that would forever be remembered as the Last Supper. This wasn't just a meal, it was a symbol, a testament to the teachings of sacrifice, service, and communion that Jesus embodied. The bread, broken and shared, symbolized the body of Christ. Given for the sake of humanity, it was an embodiment of sacrifice, a powerful reminder of the love that willingly gives up everything for others. Through this act, Jesus taught us the profound truth that there is no greater love than the one that lays down its life for its friends. The wine poured and passed around represented the blood of Christ, a promise of a new covenant. It was an affirmation of service, a commitment to the cause of righteousness and the welfare of others. This was Jesus' way of showing us that true greatness lies not in authority, but in service, in the willingness to put others before ourselves. But the Last Supper was not just about sacrifice and service, it was also about communion, about the unity and fellowship that binds us together. As they sat around the table, Jesus and His disciples were not just sharing a meal, they were sharing their lives, their hopes, their fears, their dreams. They were one in spirit and in purpose, a powerful testament to the strength of unity and fellowship. The Last Supper teaches us the invaluable lessons of sacrifice, service, and communion. It invites us to live a life of love, to serve others selflessly, and to foster a sense of unity and fellowship. It reminds us that we are all part of a larger community, bound together by the common thread of humanity. As the night falls, we are left with a sense of unity and fellowship, inspired by Jesus' Last Supper. And as we remember this sacred event, we are reminded of the timeless teachings it embodies, teachings that continue to inspire and guide us in our daily lives. Under the night sky, we join Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. Here, we find ourselves enveloped in an atmosphere of solemnity and sacredness, a moment of deep spiritual communion between a son and his heavenly Father. In the stillness and silence of the night, Jesus prays. He implores God, seeking comfort and strength in the face of the immense trials that lay ahead. His heart is heavy with the knowledge of the sacrifice he must soon make, and yet he remains steadfast. His prayer is a profound testament of his unyielding faith and unwavering obedience. His words echo through the ages. Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will. These words resonate with a powerful message of surrender and selflessness. Jesus, in his humanity, acknowledges the dread and fear he feels. Yet in his divinity, he willingly accepts God's will, demonstrating his absolute trust and love for the Father. In this moment, we witness Jesus' courage in the face of adversity. He stands on the precipice of his destiny, fully aware of the pain and suffering that awaits him. Yet he does not falter. He does not run away. Instead, he chooses to walk this path, to endure what must be endured for the salvation of mankind. He is the embodiment of divine love and self-sacrifice, his spirit unbroken, his faith unshakable. He shows us the depth of his commitment, his devotion to the divine plan, and the lengths he is willing to go to fulfill his mission. Jesus' prayer in Gethsemane is a poignant reminder of his humanity and his divinity. It is a testament to his enduring faith, his boundless love, and his extraordinary courage. In his prayer, we find a powerful lesson of faith, of surrender to God's will, and of courage in the face of adversity. In the quiet of the night, we are left to contemplate Jesus' courage and faith. So, what does a day in Jesus' sandals teach us? It reveals a path marked by virtues that echo through centuries, virtues that remain relevant in our lives today. We start the day with humility, reminded by the Sermon on the Mount that the meek will inherit the earth. This humility is a cornerstone, a foundation that allows us to approach others and the world with an open heart. Then we move to mercy and compassion, illustrated through the parables. We learn the importance of lending a helping hand, of being that good Samaritan, of showing compassion to those who are suffering, and extending mercy to those who may not necessarily deserve it. As the sun stands high, we are reminded of the greatest commandment, to love. Love your neighbor as yourself, a commandment that transcends all barriers and binds us together in unity. This love is not just an emotion, but a call to action, a call to service. As dusk falls, we gather around the table for the Last Supper, learning about sacrifice and acceptance of God's will. We witness Jesus' courage, his readiness to drink from the cup of suffering. His courage teaches us to face our own trials with unwavering faith. In the light of these teachings, we find Jesus' words ringing true. He is the way, the truth, and the life. His way is that of love and service. His truth is that of humility and compassion, and his life is a testament to courage and sacrifice.